Index card a day, number 21. Never Apologize by Creative Katie, Karen Virgil. Hit the subscribe button in the lower hand right corner. So here you see I'm using a new stencil, again Yvonne's new stencil, and I am putting gesso with the palette knife through the stencil, just like my tidbits and tips video that I released just recently. And I will put an iCard on there for you to see. The stencil is called tie-dye. Instantly I loved it and noticed the possibilities for picking different sections of it to use. So I'm cleaning the stencil. I'm just rubbing it onto some paper towel that has leftover paint in it. That might be showing up on a new Icad. Now I turned on the camera. I didn't hit the button to record. So here I was putting on the Dilutions paints, the lime color, yellow, green, and blue, and just blending them with the blending tools that I have. So one of the habits that I've gotten into using the Dilutions is you wet the felt, the sponge, and tap it onto a paper towel, coffee filter. They make lovely, lovely backgrounds or collage items later on. And yes, you'll probably see one of these show up on the future Icad. So now this is dry. I'm using a piece of cut and dry foam and silver craft paint. And I'm just rubbing lightly over so that the gessoed area that's higher picks up that silver. I was going to go white, but I thought, I like the shimmer, so I'm going to go with that. Now I'm trying to decide what to do with this background, what's going to be the focal point, and I decide to use one of the Crazy Birds from Tim Holtz. And in deciding what color it is, I get out my color wheel, and the blues and the greens are at the top there, and then at the bottom you see the orange and yellow and red oranges. What goes right across from any particular color on the color wheel is called the complementary color. They will always look good together. If you mix them when wet, they will make mud for you. But when you add them as different components, dry on dry, they show up really well. So if you often find yourself drawn to a certain card or a certain picture, ask yourself why. One of the tricks that artists use is using complementary colors. So I'm just coloring this Crazy Bird with orange and postbox red, I believe it is. And I'm just blending the colors. A trick I saw someone else do on a YouTube video was they put masking fluid on the eyes so that you didn't get the paint on top of the eyes. So after it's dry, I get out my scissors and I fussy cut the bird. And position it on the place. And then I decide, in part because I like the pop-up of the eye, but in part because I got some paint onto the eyeball and I wanted to hide that because it was bothering me. So I stamped the head part again and cut out the eye. And Yvonne showed me how to take cardboard, very thin strips, and using glue, use it like a pop dot. And it worked just fine. You'll see me do some more later. So I have my quote printed out, and I finally decide on one of them. And then I decide I'm going to have some more fun with these pop dots, homemade pop dots. And I decide I want to make this bird a little bit more 3D. So I cut off the wing and the tail feathers. And I'm going to make them pop out in the same way. I had attempted to add some gel medium to the Postbox red color, and you can see how it lightens it and makes it more translucent. And I was just playing with that idea. I don't know that it made a difference on this project, but it was something Yvonne and I were talking about. So there you see me gluing on the little cardboard homemade pop dots. Gluing it onto one of the wings. And this is fabric glue, I believe. And then gluing it onto the bird. One thing that I would have done before I put the pop dots on would be just shape the wing so it kind of has a roundish look to it. I did it later. I don't know that it's on video though. I also would have glued the bird down before I had done that. But with a lot of these Icads, I really don't know where I'm going. So sometimes it doesn't always happen the most logical way. Sometimes you see us kind of doing something in an awkward order. And that's usually because we're changing our minds, or as we go, we get another idea. Let me tell you, very little of these cards ever go off without a hitch. So I printed out "Never apologize for who you are," and just arranging it, and I'm kind of taking pictures every once in a while and seeing which arrangement I want. So satisfied with it, putting it off to the side, adhering it with Mod Podge. And giving a good coat just of Mod Podge everywhere. Sorry, I'm off camera. I like the angle of that. It just seems to work all well together. I like the white of the eyes. So this is Mod Podge, but satin finish. So it's between the matte finish and the gloss. But I wanted those parts that were sticking out, that were 3D, to stick out even more. I wanted to show off that particular part. So this is my Stabilo all pencil, and I'm just going around the words and activating it with a paintbrush. The little tuft on his head, I actually cut off and then glued back down once everything was in one place. So I'm also putting the Stabilo all pencil around the bird. Again, this would have been easier if I'd done it when the layers were just the first layer was down and it was flat. Needing a little bit more black to bring all the black together. Stabilo all pencil around the outside edge, activating with water with my finger. And there we have it. Just adding a little touch up here and there, making sure it just looks like I like it. Never apologize for who you are. Thanks for joining me.